Hello, students. This is Mr. Lass, and it's like 3. No, it's almost 3 o'clock. It's like 2:34 a.m. And I'm gonna talk about Twitter line here. Yeah, as you see, you guys started me a Twitter line. Thanks to Alex Thompson, who started that before school ended, so that way I can keep in touch with all my students. This has been a phenomenal experience. I actually try to only spend 15 minutes a day on this thing, and I limit myself to very, like, throughout the day when I'm doing work or doing something else. I have to limit myself on this thing because this thing is very addicting, and you can just scroll through it and see life happen before your eyes, whether someone's doing absolutely nothing or they're doing very important stuff, or they're doing everything that matters to them. I have some questions, though, about how this is supposed to work. First off, what the hell does it mean to stop subtweeting, retweeting, stop mentioning me in this? I don't understand this, okay? I scrolled through this, and I'm seeing that a person is expressing everything about themselves. From, I took a dump that was this long, or like, oh, I blinked 3 times. Life sucks. I don't understand. Now you don't want anyone to, why are you saying this unless you want someone to respond? People could be using this for different things. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this could just be like some kind of venting expression, or it could be like a cry for some type of response. Who knows? You have to leave that up, and that's true. You have to leave that up for the individual. But I have some complaints about young men and young ladies in this thing, and I get to say that because I'm an old fart. Young ladies and young men. First off, let's do the young ladies. I don't get why you have to put every single little emotion out there. It's very dangerous when you do that. I'm not saying that to poke fun. It's just very dangerous. You are an individual. First off, one of the reasons why I had to develop my form of talking is because my uncle told me a long time ago that the human brain thinks at about, like, it can think up to 1,800 words in a minute. It can. But we only type about like 30 to 40, and we can only speak at maximum 60. Now, this Twitter thing limits you to 160 characters. There's no way for that one statement to summate everything that you feel in that moment. So don't expect everyone to understand how you feel in that moment. And so it's okay that, that this is going to be treated kind of like a toy, and it's not. I just encourage a lot of caution as you express your deepest thoughts on this Twitter thing, because it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a social way of having fun without physically being somewhere. I'm old school. I had a pager. I rocked that Lincoln Log looking cell phone back in the day. I memorized the numbers once upon a time. And now I don't even know my son's number. It's really ridiculous. I still needed the phone. I come from that old school, like, people. You got to talk to people in person. Does this destroy that? No, it alters it. There's a weird equivalent that this has, and you got to be careful on saying too much about it and getting hurt so much by these guys. Another thing about women is when I see these tweets about knowing your worth, there is a difference between knowing your worth and being a complaining, like, spoiled brat. To know your worth means that you will not let anyone step on you. So don't let anyone step on you. You got to know your worth and got to know that no one has a right to step on you. But you're a spoiled brat if you think knowing your worth means that you should expect someone to treat you well. No one is expected to treat you well. As a person that is very infatuated with reaching the elite level of my own personal life and embracing the challenges that might get me there, you have to embrace when people do not like what you got to say. And it's not that if you're being treated like crap, like if someone's punching you in the face, if someone's giving you that Chris Brown uppercut, dude, you don't have to take that. Okay, that's knowing your worth. But to sit there and then expect a guy to treat you well without you doing anything. Now that is not knowing your worth. That is you expecting someone to treat you well, without you doing anything. Remember that respect is something that always has to be earned. So you don't ever have to get respect just because you're you. That is the wrong mentality of understanding knowing your worth. Knowing your worth doesn't mean someone should always have to spend money on you, or someone should always give you this and tell you this. Knowing your worth means like, dude, don't uppercut me. You can't be doing these like Chris Brown Hadoukens and, an uppercut. You can't be taking that. That's knowing your worth. So if a guy's treating you that way, know your worth. But if a guy is just, there's this miscommunication and you're just not getting treated the way you want to be treated, then that's just you got to work on your own communication skills to get that person to respect you in that way. But knowing your worth is a principle that is based on being mistreated, okay? And other than that, I think, I think it's just normal teenage girl stuff. I don't even care about half of it. Like, I love my students, but that stuff, it's not me anymore, Remember, I'm an old dinosaur. Got some spikes on my back coming out, arthritis in my hip, and old is spreading like a fungus. But I don't treat old-itis like this thing where I just blame your generation for everything. The guys, stop putting booty pictures on the dude. I did not like nurses. One of the worst things I hated about being a nurse was the booty, not in the sexual manner. I am talking about seeing feces and cleaning it from a person. It's funny because, if I get in a mode where I have to help a person physically, I don't see any, they could be the hottest girl there. But if I'm in a mindset, like a professional mindset, where this person is sick and they need my help, I can change mindsets, and just treat it like, just treat it very professionally, and just treat it like this is a body that needs my help and I need to help it the best I can. But I'm tired of seeing naked pictures on the Twitter line. So please try to cut that. I mean, there's no point. And plus, it's weird because I come from an old school era where a guy is the determination of what makes a man great is how he loves a woman. Okay, it's not by how many women he can get to love him. You have to understand. To me, that looks very effeminate. And I know some of the girls that I've taught so far, and they're very, very, very in control of themselves. They're very strong in their own identity. And these guys that are they always want some kind of compliment for the girls that they supposedly pull, or the girls that like them, or for the attention that they want. Dude, you sound more effeminate than some of the girls, because now you're talking about, oh look, this girl loves me. This girl loves me. I don't give a damn about that, dude. Are you serious? Dude, go talk to I don't understand that. Dude, how much can you I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. I don't understand what that communicates. And I see a lot of that from the young men, and I'm just like, dude, the sooner you get rid of that, the more you'll understand who you are, and the more you understand who you are, the more you understand you don't need to be doing all that. So stop putting in the booty pics. Stop trying to fish for compliments of girls liking you. It's kind of stupid. It really is. Now, once again, I'm an old fart. I have old-itis, and it goes over my head. I'm not judging you because, you're a young man, and you got some things that this is a phase that you have to go through. And, but, I'm not that old person that, I don't like how old people try to blame you as if you're a bad generation. I don't think you're a bad generation. It's funny because a lot of old people want to say that your generation is really terrible when it's their generation that created the problems that you have. And you're responding to it in a way that you see fit. And for the most part, I think you guys are better than our generation. That's just my personal opinion. Other things about the guys on Twitter, using the H word and calling people thoughts. And if you're an old person like me watching this video, you go ask a young person, fish a young person, and they'll explain everything to your old ass and about what's going on in the world. Just to call people that online, it's very assumptuous very, very crude. A person has multiple dimensions, as we mentioned earlier. To sum them up in one word or to sum them up in one statement is very, very harsh. And it's very, very hard it's very hard on them if it's funny too, because if I laugh at it, then, humor has a way of diffusing what is serious, and that is a serious thing, but because it's funny, people, it diffuses you a little bit. You have to have a strong-minded wit to understand when it's being diffused and when to treat it back with the same severity and gravity that it should be treated with. Speaking of which, now I'm gonna sum up this thing with some of the things I've saw today. There is this chick, right? There is this chick that supposedly got raped, and there is a picture on the Twitter line that's going all crazy, and she's like half naked, and it's unbelievable, like what people are saying about this. I find it funny, find it intriguing, and I find it interesting scientific. Some of it is repeatable because that's exactly what I would expect from people, but it's also interesting to see that instantaneously people said that she's, look at that purple lipstick and that nose ring. She wasn't raped. No, she was not raped. She is a thought. She's a thought that loved it. She loved it. And like we were laughing at it, and then there's some people like, where's the mom? And there's a whole thing on like how the mom wasn't there because of it's Tuesday, that's welfare check day, ha 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 ha, or shoot, her mother wasn't there because she didn't get her weave right. I don't know, like what's it's a piece of media, and anytime there's a piece of media out there, anybody's opinion can sit there and scrutinize it, make a parody of it, be very satirical about it and be very cynical about it. It's a piece of media. It's a piece of art. And all art is the eye of the beholder. Whoever observes it is empowered to speak whatever it is they feel about it. So they put themselves out there by wanting to be put on the news in the same sense. Like if something like that were to happen to me, I'd be like, get the hell away from my house. I'm not going to talk about it. That's just not something because once it becomes a form of media, it doesn't belong to you anymore. I'm kind of like the South Park guys, like they don't like to touch their old art, and to their understanding, all their old art doesn't belong to them anymore because they created it. Now it belongs to the fans, and that's I kind of feel the same way. And those that were in my classroom knows that's how I feel about my artwork too. It doesn't belong to me anymore. Once I create it, it's the observers. It's theirs to absorb or be inspired by, or to hate, or to think it's ugly and to completely thrash it. It's okay. Lastly, also is I like to use this thing, not only to communicate with students, but I think my voice on Twitter is just to look for ways that I think I can inspire. If I can't, then that's okay. I might say something a little bit borderline crazy, recently. Let's see, Karina Rosa, she's from El Salvador. She's like, I'm hungry for some honey butter biscuits right now. And I put, go get the ones from Church's, because they're the greatest, period. Not the menstrual period, but the period that affirms greatness. And then later on she says, oh my God, I'm really starving. And I was like, I'm telling you, get the Church's biscuits, period. Not the period that makes it rain, but the period that exemplifies happiness. So I say a lot of dumb things like that. And then if you were in my classroom, you knew that I said a lot of dumb things more than smart things. I don't know how it improved your intelligence somehow. Yeah, and I think that's my take on Twitter for now. Oh yeah, lastly, there is whenever you guys, I dig chick dramas, whether it's a Korean drama, One Tree Hill drama, it's one of my fetishes. I don't know why. I just really don't know why. I'm watching it thinking that this is like, demasculating me, and I'm still watching it. And I cry like a little bastard, like in some of these stories. Like, growing up, I liked a lot of Korean dramas. I liked a lot of dramas on the BBC. Big Jane Austen fan. Watched Dawson's Creek, 90210, Melrose Place. I think it's because I had sisters, and they just made, it's hard to fight two Filipino women. It's hard. I had three Filipino women in my life. My mom was the ringleader, and the other two demon children were my sisters, and I was the poor, peasant slave brother that had to follow them. And if you are a brother with only sisters, you understand what I'm saying. And if you're the sisters with that little brother, please stop doing it. It's not. You're causing a lot. You're ranking up the bill in a lot of psychiatric sessions. So, yeah, I dig that, and so I'll always put my comments on that. So I think that's all I gotta say from Twitter. I love it all. I always say keep doing whatever it is that you do. Man, I was inspired. No, get this, dude. I was inspired by this random person that was on Twitter. I just started following her just because I saw some stuff that was really cool that she was saying. And I retweeted it where she's like, the more you try to control something, the more it controls you. And I don't know, it's very Zen-like and, meditative, but it's very deep and insightful. So I appreciate all that. And that gives me a lot of hope. It gives me a lot of positive foresight about where your generation is going. That's it for me, man. Have a great weekend. Getting ready to play Smash Brothers, Super Smash Brothers, with a couple of the students sometime this week. And that's about it. Twitter out. 1.